Christmas, one and all. Welcome into the Week 16 edition of Ringer Wise Guys, right here for your friends on FanDuel TV. I'm John Jastremski. I welcome in our three amigos, our three wise men, Cousin Sal, Joe House, Raheem Palmer, as we get you set for all your bets. We're going to have you covered every which way. Sal, I'm glad to see you were in the holiday spirit. It's just the way we coordinated, a little green, a little red. And it does kind of fit the bill for what we have going on today, because it will be my team against your team, mano-y-mano here in the big game at 425.
Absolutely. I have to match you every move you make here. You wear green, I wear red. We're both wearing the hat. My Cowboys, Raheem's Cowboys against your Dolphins. We're skipping Christmas Eve meal, and we're going to watch that. Let's bet $14,000 on it. Me and you bet. Let's bet each other.
Well, I will see you in Los Angeles in a couple of weeks. If you could get me a membership to one of those bougie country clubs out there so I could play some Friday golf, I'm more than happy to put that on the table, and we'll deal with what I owe.
All right, good.
After the show. Now, as far as what we saw on Saturday, Raheem, I love when you and I can have a family play. We may not have a family play for Dolphins Cowboys, with you being a Cowboy fan, but we were aligned with the Pittsburgh Steelers getting the 3. A guy named Rudolph was not going to lose the day before Christmas Eve, and we cashed that one in the second quarter, baby.
Yeah, that was easy. I mean, right from the opening door, like I said before, they took him into the deep waters and drowned him. But we will have a family play on Dolphins Cowboys, even though I'm a Cowboys fan, because I'm all about the money. I'm not big on fandom. If we could cash some tickets, that's the only thing that matters.
Maybe that's a little tease for what we'll have coming up a little bit later on in the show. And House, the Buffalo Bills have been everybody's darlings. We've been betting them a lot over the last couple of weeks, but you had a feeling the entire world was on them. The Chargers just fired their coach. Had a feeling that game was going to be ugly and maybe was going to be inside the number. But that was quite the scare they got on Saturday night, huh?
Well, it was Christmas a couple days early, because two of the great NFL trends, Tomlin at home as a dog at this point of the season, where a 500 record or better is in the balance. Yes, Mike Tomlin helps us cash that ticket. And then anytime you have a team like the Buffalo Bills, who had a dominant performance the week before, flying across the country and playing a team that got absolutely railroaded out of the stadium, you must play the dog. You have to have serenity. Christmas came early for Chargers backers. A tight win for the Bills, but at this point of the season, a win is a win. That's the only thing that matters for the Buffalo Bills, JJ.
And it keeps their hopes alive, not only to go and make the postseason in the AFC. If the Dallas Cowboys go and take down the Miami Dolphins, there's a legitimate pathway for Buffalo coming out of nowhere to maybe go and steal the AFC East. We have a loaded show coming up here in Week 16. We'll have the fellas' Wisest wagers. They'll be joining us. They're ready to go. We'll see if Cousin Sal could stay hot. We'll have Mallerie Ruben, Ringerverse. What does she have in store for a guest pick a little bit later on? Now, we are in the holiday spirit. We're not doing a white elephant, but we might have a little wise guy gift swap as far as exchanging some picks. That's coming your way. And then you got to have an elf. It's Christmas Eve. Harry, Sal's good buddy from a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. The great Harry will join the Ringer Wise Guys in digital time, and we'll hopefully have some picks for us. All right, guys, let's wisen up. All right, Week 16 picks. Sal, we start with you. You are the leader in the clubhouse. You are in first place. What do you have in store for the card today?
Yeah, and you asked me, JJ, before the show, you said, Sal, how did the best bets come so easy to you? You're 10-5. You're running away with this picks title. And I'm here to tell you it's not easy. It takes a lot of work, a lot of prep, a lot of thought. And this week I landed on the Seahawks -3. I'm glad it got down from 3.5 to 3 right before we jumped on here. I don't usually like a team coming off an emotional upset win on a short week, but I think the Seahawks have turned the corner. Kenneth Walker bullying his way for first downs. Geno Smith back in the saddle. And on the other side, with Tannehill? We're supposed to be afraid of Tannehill at this point in the season. The Titans have packed it in. I think you got Derrick Henry rushing 20 times for 15 yards. That O-line was dismal last week. They allowed 7 sacks. Seattle, I think, wins this 26-16, puts themselves in a nice spot. That's my gift to you, JJ.
I appreciate the gift, and I could have used some of that hospitality last week when the Tennessee Titans had a 13-0 lead for my wisest wager and did not cooperate in the fourth quarter and overtime against the Houston Texans. So we'll see how this one treats us. Okay, House, you're getting exotic. What else is new? It's Christmas Eve. Give me an exotic. What's the play for wisest wager?
Well, this is a present that you're going to have to wait all the way till Monday night to receive, but that's kind of the perfect time, right? All the gift giving has been done. Why not one last gift to take yourself right off the Christmas holiday? We're talking about, of course, the Ravens and the 49ers, the marquee game of the weekend, the marquee game of the year. Let's be honest. And I want to begin, JJ, with respect. We're going to pay respect to the Ravens. The Ravens 19-3-2 against the spread in their last 23 games. As an underdog, the Ravens 6-1 straight up this season on the road. Lamar Jackson 11-2 against the spread as a dog, 9-4 straight up in recent memory. And he's not just covering as a dog. You look, he's an outrageous 19-1 straight up against the NFC in his career. That's unbelievable. Here comes the disrespect. I have no respect for this. My favorite play of this weekend is the San Francisco 49ers team total over 26.5 points. The Niners have scored 28 or more points in every home game this season, except their loss to the Bengals when Brock Purdy was in concussion protocol, miraculously came out in the fourth quarter of that game through back-to-back interceptions. I'm not sure he should have been out of the protocol. I think this Ravens defense is extremely overrated. 31st in the NFL, covering running backs catching passes. You know what the 49ers like to do? Throw the ball to their running backs. The Ravens gave up 30 points at home. They had one game in 23 days, came off a bye, had a home game against the Rams that gave up 30 points. They gave up nearly 200 yards to the Jaguars in the first half last week. I think that this 49ers offense is going to get cooking. I'm respectful of the Ravens as a dog, but let me get to 27 points with these 49ers and cash a beautiful Christmas evening ticket.
Team total. Interesting way to handicap week 16. I love it, House. Raheem, you are going with the Raven-Niner game as well for your wisest wager, but with a little bit of a different spin. Please explain.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens 49ers over 46.5 points. I think both of these offenses get off. House already broke down the 49ers. This is a team averaging 31 points per game. And if you take out that 3-game stretch where they just score 17 points a game against the Vikings, the Bengals, and the Browns, this 49ers team is averaging 34 points a game. This is a team that is averaging the league high 8.8 yards per passing play, a full yard over the second best team, the Miami Dolphins. So you look at this Ravens defense, they gave up 31 to the Rams. And last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, you had an end of the half botch. You had a touchdown wrongly overturned. You had 2 missed field goals and a red zone fumble. This is a team that gave up 33 points to Deshaun Watson. So the 49ers are going to score. But let's look at the Ravens. As we know, Lamar Jackson, he dominates NFC teams. This is a guy who's 19-1 against NFC teams. And a big reason why is because these NFC teams is not used to dealing with Lamar Jackson and having to deal with his ability to run and pass. So I expect the Baltimore Ravens to be able to get off. That offense is really finding something without Mark Andrews. They got Odell Beckham. They got Zay Flowers. So let's go over 46.5. This is going to be a Christmas shootout. Going to be a lot of fireworks.
I love me a Christmas shootout. I love me some overs. I'm sick of the primetime unders. We've seen a little reverse trend on that the last few weeks. Maybe we get it again, and Raheem is cashing yet another ticket. Well, guys, after losing the Titans last week, I said I'm pulling out all the stops here on Christmas. So for my wisest wager, I am doing something that I have not done in the first 15 weeks of Ringer Wise, guys. I am going with a total for my wisest wager. I'm looking at the under in the Miami Dolphin Dallas Cowboy game, which is now down to 48.5 points. And I know what a lot of people are thinking. Dak Prescott, MVP candidate. Dolphins going to get Tyreek Hill back. Dolphins putting up all these points. Oh my goodness, you got to take the over. Wrong. The Dolphin offensive line, question marks. Michael Parsons. That's not what you want when you're going up against a feeble, meager, mediocre offensive line, the best defensive player in the sport potentially coming at you. And then you look at Miami. They have been a different defense since the return of Jalen Ramsey, who I know maybe isn't going to be matched up with CeeDee Lamb one-on-one the entirety of this game, but there's going to be a lot of opportunity for him to go and do his thing. And I just get the sense, a lot of people want to bet points in this game. A lot of people thinking, hey, it's going to be crazy, 35-31. Not so fast, my friends. Under, and this total has moved. It was in the 50 to 50.5 range. Now you've seen it at 48.5. I love it. Under for the Dolphins and the Cowboys. Sal, you see this game under this total? I hope you do.
I do a little bit. You're against the line move a little here, which sucks. But I just, you know how it is. Tyreek Hill gets free once or twice, and CeeDee Lamb, same kind of thing. And then you're fighting to get the catch up the whole game to stay under. But I'm with you. I think it's like 23-17, somewhere in there.
And I expect this obviously to be a very competitive, very tight game. I do not think you'll have a repeat of what you saw with the Cowboys Bills in the marquee game last week. All right, we're in the season.
But we have $14,000 on it. So,
well, I mean, listen, there's a lot on the line. There's maybe a membership in one of those bougie country clubs that you're going to sign me up for. You're going to talk to Jimmy on that. Maybe take care of it. All right, Sal, we're in the season of giving. Hopefully you're in the season of giving me some money. That would be nice. But what do you have for an SGP for us?
Well, not only am I in the season of giving, Joe Flacco, Bailey Zappi, Aiden O'Connell, they're going to be giving too in the form of an interception. I have that on FanDuel, each of them to throw an interception. You get plus 373. Flacco had 3 last week. I don't see that changing. Maybe he won't have 3 this week, but he's a gunslinger, right? Not afraid to let it go downfield. Zappi, an interception in 4 of the 5 games he's played this year. O'Connell, 3 of his last 5. And now going up against the Chiefs defense. Colder weather, inexperienced quarterbacks. In the case of Flacco, maybe too much experience. I think the defense intensifies this time of year. I'm going with a triple interception parlay. Flacco, Zappi, O'Connell, plus 373. They're given.
So I love that. I love that, Raheem. Who would scare you the most there from being the guy who's not going to throw an interception?
I'm not scared of any of these guys. I mean, this is like the Grinch that stole Christmas. I mean, like, come on. Like, I love this parlay. This is great.
Yeah, all I was going to say is you're going to get the volume with Flacco and O'Connell. You have no concern about those guys throwing the ball all over the yard. The only one that might throw it less is Zappi, but it doesn't matter. If he throws the ball 5 times, one of those is going to be a pick. So let's cash this ticket.
And remember,
that's what I'm counting on. Yeah, he just gets the sportsish guy just a little excited. He'll go 12 for 14 and then dump the rest of the way.
Talking about some sloppy conditions too in Denver for that game on Christmas Eve against the New England Patriots. So maybe we get our Zappi interception to cash the 3-legger right around 10 o'clock Eastern time. I like the sound of that. All right, guys, it's now time to get made. And there you have it. These are the rat lines for Week 16. And Sal, I'm starting with your game. I know it's your wisest wager, but there's something off to me about this Seattle-Tennessee game. Seattle is coming off a monstrous win on Monday night. Short week. They're back to Geno Smith, yet only laying a field goal against Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans. This one smells a little fishy to me. And I think ultimately you'll probably get the W. There's no way in the world I'd be backing Tennessee here in this spot, especially after they did me dirty last week. But there just seems to be something off about this particular game. I know, what are you going to say? What are you going to make this line? 6, 6.5? I didn't expect that. But at 3, Raheem, to me, it seems a little too good to be true. What do you got for our rat line?
Okay, so I got the Henry Hill of rats. You're looking at the Atlanta Falcons laying 3 points against the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, look, Atlanta Falcons have gone 2-5 in their last 7 games, and the Falcons and the Colts have won 4 out of their last 5 games. And yet the Falcons are laying 3 points. That's crazy. The Falcons have gone 1-5 in 1-score games since week 8. They had, I mean, most of these games that they've lost, it's come by a last-second touchdown or a last-second field goal. And they've had 5 losses by a combined 16 points, 4 of which came on a last-minute go-ahead score. So the odds makers in the market are basically telling you that these two teams are even And with the Falcons being at home, with them replacing Desmond Ridder, who just has all of these turnovers, interceptions, fumbles with Taylor Heineke, that they should get the win today. But with the way the Colts are playing behind Shane Steichen, I don't know if I can back this Falcons team. So I'm going to stay away from this one. This is a wrap.
Well, I can tell you, I saw a lot of Atlanta Falcon division bets and a lot of Atlanta Falcon playoff bets go right down the toilet watching that game last week against the Carolina Panthers. Still absolutely sick to my stomach. All right, House, what do you got for a rat line, my dude?
Well, this one has been puzzling, and I'll just confess, and this is the giving season. This is really an opportunity for me to make a case for my good friend, the cousin Sal. We're talking about the Chicago Bears, who are laying more than a field goal at home against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this line was 4.5 all week long. It dropped down to 3.5, now back up to 4. But here's the starting proposition is, are we really living in a world where the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields are going to be favored by more than a field goal under any circumstances against any team? Yes, they've been playing better. Yes, they have all of these impressive defensive metrics that they've been putting together really since the bye. But the biggest thing for them is forcing turnovers. 14 takeaways over the last 4 games, +6 turnover margin. The Cardinals, on the other hand, are not a turnover-prone football team. I think that Kyler Murray, since he's come back, they have the 5th fewest turnovers across the board, and they've been very competitive, these Arizona Cardinals. They have one game against the Rams. They lose to the Rams. That's what the Cardinals do. But otherwise, they beat Atlanta. They lost to Houston by 5. They beat the Steelers by 2 scores. They outgained the 49ers last week. I love the Arizona Cardinals on the money line, and that's why I'm in this case for calling this a rat. It's really just a bump for my good pal, the cousin Sal.
Yeah, there you go. Well, he's right. I got a lot more to say about this later. Go ahead, JJ.
Do you expect this game to be a classic pros versus Joes type scenario where a lot of the public coming in on Chicago, but the sharp action probably going to favor Arizona?
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. Like, I definitely agree with that. I just think Chicago's been like a popular side. But the one thing I will say is that Chicago lost last week. So it's kind of hard to gauge if the public is even going to bet this game heavily, to be honest with you.
And I'm still getting nightmares if I'm a Bear fan about Mooney dropping what was the touchdown. That was it. Hail Mary moment for the Bears. Not to be. All right, Sal, last but not least, the rat line may involve a certain team that a certain someone may root for that we are very close with. Please elaborate.
Yes. The Patriots, you're talking about Ben Affleck, right?
Maybe
our
Matt Damon. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
There are a few others.
Yeah, it's all those guys. Listen, this is a Dunkin' Donuts special here. Broncos 7.5 over the Patriots. Now, you heard my thoughts on Bailey Zappi, but that's really the only opinion I have on this game other than it's a rat. This is the rat, JJ, that gnawed away at Belichick's hoodie for the past 30 years. Denver -7.5. That's crazy. I mean, the Broncos are better, but the Patriots have to screw someone here towards the end, don't they? Isn't that just how it goes? Denver lost by 25 last week, while New England played the Chiefs tough. I don't see how this is a touchdown plus number here in favor of Denver. Bet this one at your own risk. Belichick could win or lose this one by 20. Stay away.
We know a lot of bad gamblers. Raheem, Christmas Eve night, the 3, the 4, the 5-leg tees. How many people are going to have New England on the money line riding out potential winners tonight? Like that, or Denver, excuse me, down to a pick 'em or down to -1.5. Rounding out their tees of their parlay. I'm with Sal on this one. This one stinks to the high heavens.
Yeah, this is pretty bad. I'm shocked this line actually went to 7.5. So we're getting some extra value on it. So I think you need to go grab that hook right now because I think the sharp money is going to come in on New England.
House, not that you're a bad gambler, but how many teases and parlays do you have Denver tied into? I'm curious.
JJ, I am a bad gambler, but I actually love the Patriots in this situation. I think they're worth a little bit of a look on the money line. I think the way that their defense has been playing as of late has been really, really impressive. And this is not a quit mode kind of situation. I know Bill from LA really wants the Patriots to keep up their losing ways, but I don't there's no rollover in this situation. I like the Patriots getting all those points and maybe a tiny taste on the money line as well.
Who knew, Sal, that if the Patriots go and win this game on Christmas Eve, it'd be a lump of coal and Bill from Los Angeles is stocking? Who knew?
I hate it all. I hate the rooting against your own team thing when you don't even know who you're going to draft kind of thing, right? It's like rooting to get Secret Santa, but you have no idea what's in the bag. Give me a break already.
You're over it. All right, Raheem, you know what we're not over? Another winner. So you got an SGP for us? The floor is yours. Take it away.
Yes, we're going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers money line. We're going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jacksonville Jaguars over 43. And then we're going to go with Mike Evans, anytime touchdown. This same game parlay pays 418. You look at Baker Mayfield, he's been hotter than July right now. I mean, like last 4 games, this guy has 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 926 yards, 143 quarterback rating, and he's led the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to 26 points per game over the last 4 games. You look at this Buccaneers team, they've been dominant as an underdog. They have 5 outright wins as an underdog, tied for the most in the league this season. I look at this Jacksonville Jaguars team right now, defensively, they've really been struggling. And you look at Trevor Lawrence, he's coming out of that concussion protocol. And we've seen these quarterbacks who come out of this concussion protocol, they haven't been the same. Now, one thing I will say at this Buccaneers defense, they haven't played very well. So I think both offenses get off. And Mike Evans has been unstoppable. So I got to go with his anytime touchdown, especially in the red zone where he's probably their biggest target. So that's my same game parlay, over 43 Bucks money line and Mike Evans anytime touchdown.
You know, Sal, I locked this game in. I love Tampa as well. They're one of my favorite plays of the week. I locked it in at Pick'em thinking, oh, it's going to be 2, it's going to be 3. I don't care if Lawrence plays or not. I'm surprised that you could find Tampa as an underdog going into this game. That surprised you a little bit?
Yeah, it definitely does. I don't, even with a healthy Trevor Lawrence, I'm not sure he's all there. I'm not sure he's all with it. I don't even know that team's better than the Buccaneers, even on a neutral field. So this is at home. They've been playing great. Baker, there's talk about an extension. Really think about how the Browns screwed this up. They could have had a Baker Mayfield, not afraid to throw the ball. So I like this Bucs team, and I like what Raheem is doing here with Evans.
It is hard to believe that in the NFC South, the team and the coach and the quarterback I trust the most is Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield. How about that? All right, guys, let's take a look at the futures market. There are 2 monster favorites for Defensive Player of the Year. You see it right there. Micah Parsons, who's going to be taking on the Miami Dolphins today, is at plus 125. Or Myles Garrett, who's going to be taking on the Texans. You're also going to have Myles Garrett in a Thursday night game against the lowly New York Jets. Very interesting how that market is basically a flip of a coin at the moment. So, House, I give you heads or tails. Heads, Parsons. Tails, Garrett. Who do you like more to be the Defensive Player of the Year going into the final 3 weeks?
JJ, to me, both sides of this coin are Myles Garrett. I think he's been a one-man wrecking crew, and the reason that the Browns are where they are in terms of on the precipice of a legit seed in the AFC conference for these playoffs begins and ends with Myles Garrett. I think you need to get into the market right now before the Browns handle their business against the Texans today, and Dallas is going to be in a dogfight with Miami. If Dallas loses this game and the Browns take care of business against the Texans and Garrett has a big game, then that's it. You're not going to have plus odds on Garrett. My recommendation would be to jump into that market right now.
Yeah, this is Myles Garrett by far. You look at the Cleveland Browns, they are 9-5, and they've had 4 quarterbacks this year. Deshaun Watson, P.J. Walker, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They brought Joe Flacco. I mean, this guy's 50 years old, and they brought him off the couch, and they're still winning games. And the big reason why is because Myles Garrett, at this point, I'm convinced that they could put Sal and JJ and House and me back there at quarterback and still find a way to win games because Myles Garrett has been that good. I love Micah Parsons, but Myles Garrett is the guy for this award.
Interesting, because I think a Micah Parsons sack or 2 or 3 on Tua goes a long way, much longer way than whatever Myles Garrett will do today to Davis Mills or whoever the hell's back there for the Texans, right? I'm getting confused already who's playing who. But here's what I would do. If I had hundreds of millions of dollars like Bill from LA, I'd bet it on both players. Bet it all on both players. You get either. So, all right, work with me, Raheem. You got $10 million, so you're winning $12,500,000 on Parsons, and you're losing 10. So you're clearing $2.5 million, or you're clearing $4 million on Garrett. You see what I'm doing here? Honestly, I don't think a third guy could get in there. And then we watch JJ as Deron Bland has 3 more pick sixes today, and he steals it from everybody, right?
Oh, you bite your tongue. But you are right when it comes to the Parsons narrative. The Parsons narrative in a game that everybody's going to be watching here on Christmas Eve, I think it's fascinating. And depending on what you get out of Micah and what you get out of the Cowboy defense, that could be the difference in Defensive Player of the Year. All right, guys, it's time for a little Wise Guys. Please advise. We get a viewer email. We have a lot of fun with these. Happy holidays to the Wise Guys. I'm looking to give myself a gift on Christmas while I endure this Eagle-Giant game. I need help from 3 elves named Hurts, Barkley, and Swift. That anytime TD parlay is paying 8-1 on FanDuel. You hitching your sled to that bet, Wise Guys. Here's hoping DeVito's agent gets banned from the sideline soon like Big Dom, Steven in Jersey City. And for what it's worth, DeVito's agent got bigger problems right now as far as the marketing and the opportunities for one Tommy DeVito. You want to know why I don't like this parlay? Swift. Hurts will get in. Barkley will get in. It seems like Swift gets none of these carries at the goal line. I'm out on this parlay.
Yeah, what do you do? Who are you rooting for when the ball's at the 3-yard line? It's going to be tush push or, one or the other. So if the Eagles are expected to score 4 touchdowns, you're saying that Hurts and Swift will be 2 of them? I don't know. That's tough to root for. I did McCaffrey and Hurts for tomorrow. I can't believe this, Raheem, that this is still getting plus money. A McCaffrey Hurts anytime touchdown, you're getting like plus 10 or plus 110 or 120. They score every game.
Yeah, that's definitely shocking. I want to roll with you over the guy who wrote that email.
And I think the proper way to play it, guys. Hey, Hurts, Barkley, 2-teamer, 2-player. It's a lot better than a 3-player. Yeah. We got a lot more coming your way on this Christmas Eve edition of Ringer Wise Guys. We will have a little gift exchange. I can't wait for that. Who knows what the guys are going to be giving me this fine holiday season. And we'll also have Man's Best Bet, where, by the way, I'm going and digging deep, deep, and deep. It's like Ebenezer Scrooge, all that more. It's coming your way right after this. Welcome back to this Week 16 Christmas Eve edition of Ringer Wise Guys. Check out that lineup that we'll have coming your way later on this week on FanDuel TV. Raheem Palmer, Joe House, and this guy, John Jastremski, will have East Coast bias for you Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern. We'll see if we can nail another Saturday winner like we did with the Pittsburgh Steelers outright against the Cincinnati Bengals. And then coming your way Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. He's having MVPs like Boomer Esiason and Super Bowl MVP like Phil Simms on. You never know what Cousin Sal and the crew is going to have in store for Cousin Sal's winning weekend. That comes your way Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on FanDuel TV. All right, gang. Mallerie Ruben, who is Miss Raven and the Ringerverse superstar, she's joining the Wise Guys. Well, I think it's a fair bet, and I'd go out and put $20 million on the fact that she will have something tied into that Raven Niner Monday night game. Ain't that right? Ain't that right, Mallerie?
Wise Guys, it's Mal, and I've got a prop for you from, shocker, Ravens Niners. The over-under for Lamar Jackson's rushing yards in this game is 55.5, and I like the over, even against this vaunted 49ers defense that is yet to allow a quarterback to rush for 50 yards or more this year. It's Lamar. He's averaging 52.9 rushing yards per game, and he's surging up 72 weeks ago, 97 rushing yards last week. Last week, by the way, the Ravens lost Keaton Mitchell. They're going to need Lamar on the ground more than ever. It's a classic unstoppable force, immovable object game. What do you think? Can Lamar keep it going?
I love the attire, Mallerie Ruben, all decked out. You got your Ravens hat, you got your Ravens sweatshirt on. And I totally understand why you would like Lamar Jackson to go and have a field day running because, hey, he's going to have to do a whole lot of that if the Ravens are going to have a chance to go and win this game. All right, guys, it's time for the first ever Ringer Wise Guys gift exchange. That's right. The family meal is getting put on aside for a week because we're in the giving spirit. It is the holiday season. It is Christmas Eve. And we thought it would be right for each of us to go and give one of our comrades a gift. And when I say a gift, I mean a pick that is going to a certain someone. So, House, I will let you start off the gift-giving festivities. You have a gift, you have a pick, and who are you giving it to? Let's hear.
So, JJ, as you know, as all the Wise Guys know, I am the king of the dogs. I'm always scanning the board, looking for some value out there, somebody that's a little plus money. My good friend, Raheem Palmer, a noted, devoted Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys getting plus money against the Miami Dolphins. To me, Dream, this is a wonderful buy low spot on the Cowboys. After the performance the Cowboys had last week on the road against the Bills, a beatdown, but they were sick. The flu bug, it ran rampant. The whole Cowboys team was sick. I don't trust the Dolphins, Dream. Miami's got 10 wins, but they played the weakest opposing offenses in the entire NFL. They beat the Jets twice, the Patriots twice, the Chargers, the Giants, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Commanders, and my mom's book club. That's all their wins this season. When they face a good offense, that opponent can move the ball. Kansas City, 3 first-half touchdowns. The Bills and the Eagles, no resistance whatsoever out of this Miami defense. But the real thing in terms of the X's and O's for this game is the injuries to that Miami offensive line. I think that the rotating deck chairs that's going on with Miami trying to protect Tua, and Tua does not like pressure. So this is an instance where I think that because of all the moving parts on that offensive line, big question marks for Miami, their ability to protect Tua. I like the Cowboys. Slight dogs in this instance. That is my gift to you, my friend.
It's a nice gift. That's a very thoughtful gift.
So, look, it's all about the thought. It's not about anything else, but I feel like you handed me a lump of coal.
Oh, no!
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I mean, like, I love my beloved Dallas Cowboys, but when you look at this Dallas Cowboys team, Zach Martin, all-world right guard, he is questionable for this matchup. Tyron Smith has pretty much been ruled out. So the Cowboys offensive line is just as banged up as the Dolphins offensive line, and you got to deal with Christian Wilkins, which has already set a career high in sacks with 8, quarterback hits with 19. Wilkins has 10 lost tackles for a loss and 24 pressures in 14 games this season. So the Cowboys aren't going to be able to protect either. So my biggest thing about this game is you look at the Dallas Cowboys and they can't stop the run. They gave up 179 rushing yards to James Cook last week. And it's the most that they've given up since they gave up 200 yards to Alfred Morris in 2012. And a big reason why is because the absence of Jonathan Hankins, who was their nose tackle. He's been out with a sprained ankle and he's been out multiple weeks. So if both offensive lines are struggling, one team in the Miami Dolphins, they have a running game. The Cowboys don't have a running game. Miami leads the NFL in yards per rush this season at 5.1, including a league best 3.5 yards after contact. So I like the Dolphins in this game, and I'm gifting this to JJ.
Wow.
House handed me a lump of coal, but I'm a good guy, and I don't believe in. I want to do well for the people I give gifts to. Sorry, House.
Well, I hope that Dolphins -1.5 isn't a lump of coal, Raheem, but I do agree with your point. And that Dolphin defense, I understand some of those numbers against quality teams could be talked about, Buffalo and Philadelphia. Major asterisk. Jalen Ramsey did not play in either one of those games. And unless I missed something here, Jalen Ramsey will be playing Sunday against CeeDee Lamb and the Dallas Cowboys. So I hope that I am celebrating and I'm singing Deck the Halls with that gift that Raheem the Dream just gave me. Okay, Sal, you know every now and again you got to get a bad gift and you got to find a way to make something good out of it. That is what I am giving to you in a two-team parlay, same-game parlay. That's right, involving the New York Jets. I can't believe I'm doing it. I saw the Jets twice in person get absolutely steamrolled by the Miami Dolphins. Well, guess what? Zach Wilson is not a quarterback. Robert Saleh is coming back. Jet defense has played hard all year. I'm going to give you the Jets to win. And because of the fact that Zach Wilson is out, I know this. Whoever the other quarterback might be, whether it was Tim Boyle, Trevor Siemian, Aaron Rodgers, they find a way to force feed and target Garrett Wilson. And he's going up against one of the worst pass defenses that the NFL has to offer in the Washington Commanders. So here's my gift to you, Sal. Jets to win. Garrett Wilson, 60-plus receiving yards. You get +150. I know it looks gross on the surface, but this is a gift that you are really going to enjoy at around 4:30 Eastern. Just saying, buddy.
I'm just saying either you hate me, which may be the case for giving me this gift, or maybe this is an ironic gift, like when you buy someone a William Hung CD, American Idol, you know, he came in fourth place, whatever. Is that what's going on here? You got me a Trevor Siemian rookie card here. What the hell am I supposed to do with this garbage? All right, well, it is the thought, as Raheem said, it's a thought that counts.
All of us are ungrateful. Except for JJ.
Not me. Not me. I was very grateful.
JJ looked at me at the whole board, Sal, and picked the Jets.
I know, it's crazy.
I don't understand it.
Hey, it's not what it appears, right? Sometimes Christmas in the Christmas spirit, it's not what it appears.
No, I think it's
now,
what
if
it
it appears as a winner, you're not going to be complaining.
All right.
Well, he brought you a scratch off for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is already scratched off and lost. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, JJ, I guess. Hey, House, I got something good for you. And I did some research. Sam Howell, that's your quarterback. Over 14.5 rushing yards at -114. I am actually betting this for you, House. After this show, you will get a text from me saying, look at this. 114 to 100. Sam Howell, he's hit this total over in 4 of the last 5 on the road. He averages close to 20 yards rushing. And I don't have to tell you, House, he's been sacked 59 times. You felt every single one of them. You're going to feel elation after he scampers for 17 yards. And then we just have to hope that the 3 kneel downs at the end of the game don't hurt us, House, because the Washington Commanders are winning this game. I don't know what JJ did to me here. There you go. Sam Howell over 14.5.
Cousin Sal, I love it. And Sam Howell is not only running for his life against this ferocious Jets defense, he's running for his career. Because if he doesn't play well, then he may not be associated with the Washington franchise next year. They might be drafting a quarterback coming up here. So I love the over here. I'm also with you. I'm on the C-words to win this game. I didn't have the guts to bet them as my best underdog bet, but I have a little money line parlay for our little crew here. I have the Washington Sea-Words and the Dallas Cowboys parlay together as outright dogs. That's like
that's nice.
Yeah, why not? Christmas spirit. I'm on our teams, fellas.
Sorry,
I
JJ.
hate fading the house dog. That always is a frightening thought because the house dog has been a winner throughout most of this year. But know this about the Jet fan. They're rooting like crazy to lose this game. You know what happens to Jet fans. When they want a certain thing, it usually goes the other way.
That's true.
The Jets will take down the Commanders. All right, guys, let's take a look and an eye on the future. We have futures board here for the NFC, 2 playoff teams, 2 teams that are trying to get one of those last 2 spots. You got the Minnesota Vikings, basically at even money to make the postseason. And then you have Seattle, who's been juiced up a little bit after their win on Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm going to ask the Wizard of Oz here, Raheem Palmer, Vikings, even money, Seattle minus 132. What bet do you like more?
I'm going to go with the Vikings because I believe that they have multiple chances of being able to get into the postseason. They can still win a division or they can get into the wild card. So that's what I would go with.
Sal, you're on Seattle today. So would you make the case that Seattle minus 132 to the playoffs a good bet?
Yeah, if I'm right about that, I have to kind of stick with the Seahawks, right? Because I'm taking them today over Tennessee. I'm counting them to win. I'm also counting the Vikes to lose a close one versus the Lions. I think Seattle takes 2 out of 3. They could get in at 9-8. They have a chance to win all 3. Titans today, Steelers home, and then Cardinals to end things up. So minus 132. I probably have way too much confidence in Seattle, but I think that's the pick of the 2.
Yeah, go ahead, Dream.
One thing I will add is that the Vikings have the tie break over Seattle based on best win percentage in conference games. And Seattle's not playing a conference game this week. So just got to clarify that.
Yeah, my preference is for Seattle just because the Vikings are playing Detroit twice here in these last 3 games. And if the Seahawks can get out of this tough spot against the Titans, they still have the Cardinals, and they host the Steelers, which is under the circumstances the best way you want to play the Steelers. So I have a preference for the Seahawks.
I like the Vikings today, and I do. Take the Vikings at even money now to go and make the postseason. So a little food for thought. Speaking of an underdog we may like, it's now time for Man's Best Bet. Time to time. There we go. Now we're getting the pooches going. All right, who are we starting with? Sal, I'm starting with you. Man's best bet. I want to make sure I have it right. Take it away.
Well, House made my case for me here with Arizona plus 176 over Chicago. I think this is way high. Both teams are giving it their all. There's no tanking, by the way. This is why the NFL football is the greatest sport. But for this game, I like Arizona. Both teams rejuvenated. I'm going to give the edge to the Cardinals. They put up 29 versus San Francisco. They're a new team since Kyler came back. McBride, the tight end, is a threat. James Conner running with a burst. I've never seen from him before. Like I said, Kyler's playing well. I'm actually looking forward to this game. Bears haven't won 3 straight home games in 4 years. It ain't happening on my watch, JJ. I like Arizona plus 176.
Well, it's funny. Not only is it your dog of the week, but it has some rat connotations too. So our graphics team wanted to show you 2 for the money there with a little rat,
I like it.
A little underdog, and away we go. All right, Raheem, I think our futures conversation kind of segued nicely into what your man's best bet is going to be. And I know you had a lot of buyer's remorse last week going with the Jets over the Seahawks. Now it's time for redemption. Let's get it right for man's best bet. What's the play?
Let's go with the Minnesota Vikings plus 128 on the money line. Brian Flores. He has turned his defense around. They're 5th in DVOA, 7th in EPA per play, and 9th in success rate. And the biggest thing about this defense is they're blitzing at the highest rate in the NFL. Jared Goff passer rating while clean, 113.8. Under pressure, 64.4. He is 29th in Pro Football Focus grade versus the blitz and 1st when not blitz. So that blitz is going to have an impact on Jared Goff. And you look at this Lions team, that 1-2 punch of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, they could struggle here. This Minnesota Vikings defense is allowing just 69.7 rushing yards per game. That's 2nd in the league. So I expect this Vikings defense to be able to slow down the Lions. You look at offensively, Nick Mullins is playing pretty well. He had 303 passing yards with 2 touchdowns last week, and they played a Bengals defense, which is just as bad as this Lions defense that they're going to face this week. The Lions have nobody to stop Justin Jefferson, Jordan Anderson, or TJ Hawkinson. So I like the Minnesota Vikings plus 128 on the money line. They're going to win this game, and they're going to keep hope alive to still win that division. They play on the last game of the season. They could win it there, but I think they win today.
For what it's worth, I like the Vikings. Raheem beat me to the punch. That's what happens when you're walking the dog during our production meeting. Raheem was able to get dibs on Minnesota. So job well done, Dream. I hope it cashes, but we're going to go down a different road for man's best bet. And I'm in the doghouse, no pun intended. I need a lot of work to do to try to catch our buddy Joe House. So I'm kind of pulling a page out of Raheem's playbook from last week and going with a real crummy team at a real massive number. But I hope maybe I'm going to hit a lotto ticket. I'm going to hit a scratch off when it comes to this game in week 16. That's the New England Patriots outright against the Denver Broncos. We mentioned the idea that Denver is going to be included in a lot of these teases and a lot of these parlays. I like that from a New England perspective. I like the fact that Denver is coming off a dismal performance, and Denver's the type of team that only seems to feast if they get a bunch of turnovers. Now, I know New England and Bailey Zappi might be prone to throwing an interception or two, but if we're talking about bad conditions, we're talking about an ugly game, we're talking about a whole lot of runs, then maybe we can get a defensive struggle. Maybe it's the New England defense having a moment in this game. And I just think it's a good value play. Look, I understand New England stinks, but I'm getting this a little under 3-1. I'm sorry. I don't trust the Denver Broncos. Let's get nuts. Give me the Patriots outright for our dog of the week in week 16. All right, House, you're the king of the dog. The floor is yours. What do we got?
JJ, I'm picking up a little bit of what you're putting down there with kind of an ugly defensive struggle kind of thing. It's been well established that I am a very petty bettor. So if you burn me one week, I'm coming back with a vengeance, looking for a way to fade you the following week. And by distinction, if you're good to me, then I want to reward you. Well, I have the perfect matchup right here. It's the Carolina Panthers at home as dogs against that stinky Green Bay Packers team that absolutely ruined their season last week at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, made Baker Mayfield look like a Hall of Famer. This one really comes down to the fact that the Panthers, to me, have the best unit across this competition, and that is their defense. Since their bye, top 8 in yards per play, they're giving up only 253 yards per game. Let's put that in context. The Cleveland Browns, with their top-notch defense across the season, has allowed only 261 yards per game. So the Panthers have been on a great stretch of very good defense. There are injuries across the board for the Packers, both on offense and on defense. Jordan Love and the Packers offense has been far less efficient and productive on the road. They have a hard time scoring 20 points. So this is going to me be a low scoring game, which means more variance. I am not recommending anybody do anything with Bryce Young props, but Chuba Hubbard rushing the ball, he might get 40 rushes in this game. Who knows? The Packers defense, one of the worst defenses in the NFL against the run. They have injuries in the secondary. They have guys complaining about playing through injury. Jair Alexander has been absolutely biding his time. I don't know when I might be ready. I'm not sure if I'm ready yet. He's waiting for Joe Barry to hit the skids. I love this Carolina Panthers team. Plus 160 on the money line. Back-to-back wins for Carolina. They don't have a draft pick. Why not try and win?
You know, I wish I had the Stones last week to take Carolina because the line absolutely stunk against Atlanta. And Raheem, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Matt LaFleur being this coach that doesn't lose in the month of December, loses to Tommy DeVito, loses last week at home to Baker Mayfield where their defense stinks. I'm with House here. I'm not playing this game, but if I were to play it, I don't think Carolina value from an underdog perspective, my dude.
Oh, yeah. Like, honestly, after hearing House's case, I want to play this one. And I kind of wish he had given me this gift instead of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm kind of pissed.
We can swap it. Swap it. Gift exchange.
What has this world come to where you were begging for the Panthers instead of the Cowboys? My goodness.
Hey,
what a weird kid.
Give the man what he wants, Cousin Sal. Give the man what he wants. He wants the Carolina Panthers. You give him the Carolina Panthers.
The only thing I'll say about this with these NFC South, and trust me, I learned the hard way. I gave out a million stats about how the Saints defense was this and that, and we saw what happened to them Thursday night. I don't know if you can lean on the Panthers defense being great kind of things. The quarterbacks are so bad in this division and so bad in the other division that they're playing on the AFC side. So that's the only thing. All right, you want to take the Panthers, that's fine. But the fact that these defenses are stepping up, I think it's a paper lion.
All right. We got back-to-back and belly-to-belly with SGPs. House, I'm starting with you. Get in the lab. I know you've been dissecting a lot of these. What are we looking at for an SGP come Sunday or Monday?
So it's Monday afternoon. Like you're perfect if you have a nice Christmas lunch. You want to sit back, maybe have a couple of beverages, really ease into something. And why not collect a winner while we're at it? Just a simple 3-leg same game parlay. We have AJ Brown over 75.5 receiving yards. Darren Waller for the Giants. He's healthy. Tommy DeVito likes him over 35.5 receiving yards. Very easy. And Jalen Hurts, anytime touchdown. That leg all by itself is minus 200 because, Jalen Hurts, anytime they get inside the 5-yard line, he scores a touchdown. In general, I think this is the look out for Philly. Things are coming together. The train is rolling a little bit. They have these 3 games, 2 against the Giants, 1 against the Cardinals, where they have a chance to get right before the playoffs get going. I think Philadelphia, with the passing game, wants to get it going. They want A.J. Brown to get touches. And the Darren Waller piece of this is an increasing opportunity for him to get targets. He is a safety blanket for Tommy DeVito. That's the 3-legger. It pays plus 398, almost 4-1. Christmas afternoon, have a beverage, maybe a nice port, and just relax and take down 4-1 cash right there.
So I liked everything in that parlay. The only thing I think that might be dicey is Darren Waller, because can he stay on the field and actually play for 4 quarters in this football game? Hurts to score, absolutely love it. A.J. Brown against that Giants secondary, sign me up right now. All right, SGP, I'm going to make you guys wait till Monday night. I'm going with the Niner-Raven game of the week. And I'm going to play this 4 different ways. I'm going to take the Niners to win. I think the game means a little bit more to them. Ravens beat Miami and beat Pittsburgh. They're the 1 seed no matter what happens here. Deebo Samuel has been a man possessed the last few weeks. I like him to go and score a touchdown. I'm riding with our gal, Mallerie Ruben, with her rushing prop with Lamar Jackson, but I'm going to take it to 40, not 55.5. And then Mr. Likely, who has become a favorite target of Lamar Jackson in the absence of Mark Andrews, 40-plus receiving yards. You notice 40, a big theme of this SGP. A little under 6-1. Sal, I'm not going to lie. I feel really good about this.
Well, you got to love Deebo, right? Lamar, I was going to comment on Mallory's thing. It's fun to root for your quarterback, but I don't think the 49ers give up rushing yards to quarterbacks, do they? Like I was looking back at it, and who else? They, I don't know. I had it here. I can't have it there. Well, Lawrence didn't get it. Hurts didn't get it. I can't remember who the other one was. So that one you might have to sweat out, but otherwise I like it.
All right, guys, let's take a look at the board. Who's in, who's out when it comes to week 16? Nico Collins is going to be in for the Houston Texans. That's a big deal. Devin Achane is going to play for the Miami Dolphins. We're still waiting on word with Tyreek Hill. Looks good, but I think you're going to find out about an hour before that game kicks off at 4:25. Geno Smith, this is a big one for you, Sal. He will be in for the Seattle Seahawks. Will Levis out for the Tennessee Titans. It'll be Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. And this is a big blow to the Indianapolis Colts. This one was back and forth, it felt like, all week. Pittman looked like he was going to play on Friday. Then you get word Saturday, nope, there was a setback with the concussion protocol, so no Michael Pittman for the Indianapolis Colts as they take on the Atlanta Falcons. All right, guys, now it's time for another Wise Guys, Please Advise. I'm looking forward to this. I always love hearing from the viewer, and they always like to get in with their fine thoughts here on this fine Sunday morning. Wise Guys, we have a gift for you from the North Pole. A highly motivated Patrick Mahomes and a Raiders team who isn't ready for his reindeer games. Last time they played, the Chiefs scored a touchdown on their first drive. We're betting they do it again at plus 230. Is that naughty or nice, Wise Guys? Hashtag Comet and Cupid. Okay, Raheem, those are always dicey bets. You talk about a lottery ticket. That's a lottery ticket, betting on a team to go and score on their opening drive. You like that for Kansas City or nay?
Hate it. If you're going to take that, I would rather just take Kansas City first quarter or first half as opposed to just because you leave yourself some margin for error.
Sal, you like those bets ever? First drive on the opening possession. I feel
You
like
know,
you don't bet
I
anything,
normally,
so that's kind of right up your
yeah.
alley, or no?
I normally don't like it, but it's Christmas and it's fun, and there's no Kadarius Toney in the lineup, so you actually have a chance. There's no McCole Hardman either. I don't know. It's gonna be tough to find receivers. Nobody wants to play this position anymore for Patrick Mahomes, but Rashee Rice, he does the trick for you. And here's a good thing about this bet, JJ. This is the first game on Christmas Day. If Chiefs go out there and score the touchdown, that's great. You don't have to watch. You're opening gifts the rest of the way. It's beautiful. Or if they lose, you go and you sell your gifts, I think is how it works.
Yeah, I will say you only really make this bet when you have real confidence in a team and its first couple drives, that script, right? And this Chiefs team isn't a team that this season offensively has looked at like perfect machine script-wise. San Francisco's a team that I might think of doing this with. The Eagles earlier part of the season. The problem I have with this one is Antonio Pierce and that Raiders defense are not effing around. I mean, they're playing as hard as they can, so that would be the reason for me to be shy about it. I love Dreams play. Just play the Chiefs on the spread for the quarter or on the money line for the quarter and a half.
Let me give you guys an honorable mention before we say goodbye. We did not hit on this game. The Browns laying points against the Texans. No CJ Stroud at quarterback. Sal, we have all those futures in the Browns to make the playoffs, to win the division, to go over their win total. We should be sending a gift basket the way of Joe Flacco. You like this spot for Cleveland today? You saying it's a buyer beware?
This is so tough, right? Because Cleveland doesn't need it as much as Houston does to make the playoffs. They're at 9. 10 is probably going to get you in after what we saw yesterday. I actually am leaning towards the Texans here, believe it or not. I don't know what it is. I think Flacco is going to be under siege. We saw what the Texans did to Will Levis last week. They put him down like 7 times, right? So it could be a tough game for Cleveland moving the ball.
Quickly, Raheem, Browns, Texans, who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Browns. I just think the Texans just have way too many injuries, so that's where I would head with this.
House, 20 seconds. Browns, Texans. What's the play?
I am not putting any money on Case Keenum. You can't make me do it even if it's Christmas. I'm on the Browns here. I love the Browns.
You know, I had a team that was playing Case Keenum last week. I felt really good about it at 13-0. 3 hours later, whole lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda. I mean, just saying. Still sick. Hopefully the Dolphin and the Cowboy under gives me the Christmas gift that I need in my redemption story. I need my Tiny Tim moment here in week number 16. That's going to do it for us here on FanDuel TV with Ringer Wise Guys. Cousin Sal, Joe House, Raheem Palmer, John Jastremski signing off. We'll be on our digital stream till 12:30. Harry, our great elf, is going to join us. You want to tune in? It's going to be a lot of fun. Boys are out. Merry Christmas, one and all. And to all, a pleasant good afternoon. Welcome into the bonus time, Ringer Wise Guys, here on all our digital platforms. I'm actually making it till 12:30. I don't have a Dolphin game to go and attend, but I'm in the Christmas spirit. The boys are in the Christmas spirit. We have Cousin Sal, Joe House, Raheem Palmer. Our buddy Harry Gagman is going to join us in a little bit. He's got the Mad Elf costume on. He is ready to go with a bunch of picks. We have some honorable mentions that we did not get to in our hour-long edition of Ringer Wise Guys. Let's get to the two games not named Niners, Ravens on Monday with the three legs of football action we have coming our way. Let's start with this one, Raheem. The Raiders, who are getting 10.5 against the Chiefs. They've been spunky under Antonio Pierce. They got smoked by the Chiefs when they played a few weeks ago. I think it's a ton of points. I think Kansas City's going to win. I would not feel confident laying 10.5 with what I've seen from the Cheat offense. That's just my 2 cents. That's just my take. If I'm betting this one, I like the Raiders. Do you agree?
No, I don't. This is like the episode where they had Johnny Cochran on South Park and he had the Chewbacca defense. This line doesn't make sense. You go back 4 weeks, the Kansas City Chiefs were laying 9 on the road against this same Raiders team. Now they're laying 10 at home. So there's just no home field advantage like put into this line. And when you look at it like historically, we talk about teams who lost by 20 points. What about teams who win by 20 points? This team scored 63 points last week. We can't go back to them and play them again. So I think the value is all over the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think you have to go late at 10.
Sal, you playing this game?
Well, I'm playing it as a teaser, and I feel good about it just doing that and nothing else. I mean, how are you supposed to figure out this Raiders team? To what Raheem talked about, they scored 0 at home against the Vikings, and then 3 or 4 days later, they put up 63 against the Chargers, who looked good last night against the Bills. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. I'm going to go by 31-17. Chiefs, I feel like, are playing a little bit of possum. They know when to get hot. Some of these other teams may have peaked at the wrong time. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is going to get them back on track with a win over the Raiders. But as far as covering that spread, I'm not sure. I'm going to stay away.
All right, so we got 2 guys leaning in a Chief direction. I totally get the tease angle. Raheem and I maybe heads up on this one. Haven't decided if I'm officially playing it on Monday, but I do lean the direction of the Raiders. Haas, how do you see Chief Raider?
It's a leg for me on moneyline parlays. It's just the Chiefs on the moneyline parlay. I don't really want to mess around with the 10.5, even though I tend to agree with the dream on this one. I think that the Chiefs will come in, just take care of their business. And Patrick Mahomes, 10-1 straight up against the Raiders. The Chiefs don't lose to the Raiders. The Chiefs especially don't lose to the Raiders when they're home. But I don't want to mess with Antonio Pierce and that defense. The Raiders are some backdoor thing. Down by 17, they come down to score. Aiden O'Connell throws something crazy to Devontae Adams, and then you lose the bet. So just Chiefs money line for me.
Let's get to the other game on Monday. That's a monster number. That would be the Giants getting 13.5 points. Tommy DeVito at quarterback taking on the Eagles. The Eagles have had their issues defensively. They just reassigned their defensive coordinator. They let Drew Lock go down the field to win the game. A game the Eagles looked like they had in the bag against the Seattle Seahawks. But Sal, if they win their final 3 games, they got the Giants twice and they got Arizona. They still go and win the NFC East, and they'll be the number 2 seed when it's all said and done. Are you looking at this as a major smash spot for the Eagles to bounce back, or is it just way too many points?
It is the way you laid it out. It really should be, right? Emotional game Monday against Seattle. They have to win. Jalen Hurts is, his credibility is called into question here. Is he a locker room guy? He's got to be upset about that. All that. But I do think the Giants are going to play them tough in one of these 2 games, right? So is this the game, JJ? Is this when they're getting 13? Is this when you jump on them? I have this as a stay away. I close my eyes and circle the side, and I can't even remember which one I did.
How are you playing here?
Same thing, money line on the Eagles, money line Chiefs, money
you guys
line
are just
Eagles.
Money line all these games on Monday. Be careful. That's all I'm going to say. Be careful.
I had my Rams from Thursday, and I had my Bills from yesterday. I already sweat the Bills was the sweat, so now
you did have your sweat. That's fair. You did have your sweat.
The Chiefs and the Eagles to get me across, and I have other ways to play that 49ers Ravens game, but I do think that this is the game that the Eagles come out and look absolutely right. Like they've gotten themselves, they're going to throw the ball all over the ball yard. They're going to like that Eagles crowd is going to be insane on Christmas Day. That late afternoon start, you can imagine the lubrication going on there. So this would be to me the one. Yes, cousin Sal, Christmas lubrication. This would be the one to go ahead and lay the points.
Dream, where do you stand on Giant Eagle?
Yeah, I probably would like. Me and House spoke about this all week. I think you got to tease the Eagles down. 10-point sweetheart teaser. I think that's the best way to play it. I don't really trust this Eagles defense to do anything. I think the Giants, they've proven that they've been live lately. So I don't want to lay that many points with the Eagles. But I think if you can get the Eagles on a 3-team 10-point teaser, I think you're in a good spot.
The Eagles have absolutely owned the Giants for the better part of 25 years. And especially last year, you look at it, they beat them not once, not twice, but 3 times, including that lopsided divisional round game that felt like the varsity playing the freshman team, watching that game on full display. So you would think bounce back spot for Philadelphia. All right, we're going to have Ben Solak. We're not going to have Shield. Shield a little under the weather. We hope he gets well soon. Solak's got full cast of characters. Ruiz, Nora, who the hell knows what they have going on for extra point taken. But they got a whole lot of cool stuff that's coming your way next.
You can't replace Shield Kapadia with just one man. I've always said that. That's just science. You have to do it with 2. So I brought on for the show today the dual threat, the Brady and Belichick of podcasting. I don't know which one's which.
Ben.
Nora Princiani and Stephen Ruiz. All right, well, the 2000s, the best football duo. That's what I was thinking of there. Not like prime era Brady Belichick. Here's what I think we're going to get: Niners Ravens, and this is just particularly designed to ruin Stephen's life. Ravens defense dominates for 3.5 quarters, right? We're just talking like Purdy's head is in a blender. Cal Shanahan's screaming on the sidelines. He's missing throws. And then with like 8 minutes left, Purdy engineers like back-to-back beautiful statement drives. True MVP winning, award winning. He's the greatest quarterback ever drives. That to me is my optimal Niners-Ravens game. Steven, hey, any interest in that?
No, not at all. And I'm already thinking about like what my argument would be. I'd be like, okay, why were they still in the game? Why was he, if he had such a bad first 3 quarters, how is he still in the game and able to engineer these comebacks? The people around him, the supporting cast, the play calling, and all that has just kind of propped him up a little bit. And people are embellishing his strengths. That's all I'll say about him. I don't think that's going to get exposed anytime soon because he still has those things around him.
I don't know if I'd quite go there, but the thing that I am hoping for is that this is a real Lamar completely on one game. And the thing that I'm curious about if that happens is how much it's going to involve him running the ball. He's averaging 53 rushing yards per game, which is the lowest since his rookie year by more than 10 yards per game. But this 49ers defense, as you've said, that's not really what they typically sell out to stop. And they gave up 50 yards on the ground to Kyler Murray last week. Lamar's a more threatening player in that mode than Kyler. And that's the world in which, 1, we get an awesome game. It's Christmas night. Everyone's dialed in. And 2, where they can really keep pace with this 49ers offense, which heart of hearts, I probably trust a little bit more to score a whole bunch of points. But if the Ravens do it, it's because Lamar has an absolute statement game.
Steve, Nora. I'll start with you, Nora. Who do you think wins this? How much do you think they win it by?
I think the 49ers win it. I'm voting for the best possible game here. I suppose they could win it by 7 if it's a last-minute touchdown.
Yeah, you got a little 27-20? What's the final score?
Yeah, I like it. 27-20 feels good to me.
Steven, where are you at?
I'm going to pick the Ravens.
Yep.
I'm going to go 21-17. I think it's a Mike McDonald game. I think Lamar looks good within the context of his environment. I think he is the clear MVP after this. Maybe this is Cope. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. I'm picking the Ravens. I think they're going to win the game.
So I think the Niners win it. I do think it is lower scoring. Dolphins Cowboys. This is actually a Sunday game, so you guys will be talking about this on the show. It's a 4:00 game. So I think we're at a 34-27 fourth quarter. Dak Prescott has potential game-winning drive in his hands. And then on 4th and 10, he throws like a Brandon Cooks quasi-drop interception. Like hits him on enough hands. You can claim it's a drop if you want. But if you want to do anti-Dak bad faith discourse, you can claim it wasn't a drop. That's the game that we're getting. We're getting fireworks, last-minute drive. Nora, do you like my pitch?
No, I hate it. I like the idea of this as a high-scoring game. I think that would be fun. Normally, I would tell you I really like this Dolphins defense and would expect them to have a better result than that. But we have no idea who's playing, and it seems like 90% of them are hurt. So I like the pick. I like the prediction.
I think we see a lot of points from the Dolphins. I'm not so sure about the Cowboys. I think we get a bad Dak game, and I think we get a bad Dak discourse week.
Why a bad Dak game in this one? Is it something with what
Vic Fangio.
Fangio's doing? Yeah. What in particular do you think is going to give Dak trouble?
He's had trouble against Fangio in the past. Like, they played the Broncos a couple years ago, and he just had a horrible game. It was one of those games where we were talking about Dak all week long, and it's the safety rotations and how Fangio kind of plays with the quarterback's mind. And he shows him one thing. It's kind of the same discussion as the Brock Purdy one we had in the last segment. I think there's going to be a lot on Dak's plate in this game, like you predicted. And I think if it's like a 40 to 50 drop back game with a game script that demands him to push the ball downfield, I think we're going to see a couple of interceptions. Because you're going to get a couple of reads wrong against a Fangio defense, especially when you're doing it at that volume.
All right, welcome back. Good stuff from Solak and the gang. Sal, I want you to introduce our special guest who's joining us here on this Christmas Eve. He's one of our all-time favorites, but give us the introduction this man deserves.
I will. I know you and House know him. Raheem is now getting his first looks at a dear friend of mine. When I met him, he was peddling parlay tickets in the dining hall at SUNY Oswego. And I approached him. Honestly, I said, hey, that's against the law. You can't do this. And so we came to an agreement, and we've been fast friends since. And now 3 decades later, he's packed his 270-pound frame into a $10 elf costume. Better be a sturdy shelf for this elf. Harry Gagman, what's happening, Harry?
Ho, 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 everybody. What's happening? Merry Christmas, everybody. Let's get some winners
Merry
going
Christmas.
today. Come on.
Harry,
Hey.
I love it. Before we do any of the NFL stuff, how giddy are you that our school, you're a Syracuse guy. Sal, I know you hate this because Harry and I
stop
text
this.
all the time Syracuse stuff. Our school is back to getting big-time football players. Harry, let's
Unbelievable.
go.
Unbelievable. Did we really get McCord? Did we really get him from Ohio State? Did we really get him? We got a guy from a transfer from Ohio State to come to Syracuse, JJ. Amazing.
He should never play for Ohio State. Come on, JJ. Don't get excited.
Listen, you guys have to
About this
understand
McCord.
something. And I heard from a lot of Ohio State people in my life saying, have you watched McCord? He stinks. Harry, do they know the bar we are working with football over the last 15 to 20 years? When we get the
Year
Ohio
after
State
year.
quarterback coming to our school, that's a huge deal. It is.
I mean, I'm tired of, we beat Colgate, we beat Wagner, we beat these, and we win 5 games every year. And now the tide has turned. This team can challenge for the ACC next year.
Teams,
Finally, let's
House,
go.
go bet it now. Thank us later. Syracuse to win the ACC. You're going to get insane value on it. It's all
House,
holiday
straighten
gift.
these guys out, House.
My question is,
Let's go Orange.
What took you so long?
Let's go Orange.
You can buy any player that you need. Syracuse it's filthy with these famous media people. 30 years of media. Get out the checkbook and buy the good players. You know how to do this. What's Syracuse doing?
Well, I was going to say we wish Simmons was an Orange alum because
And if we
he
could
would
wipe
be a
out the
perfect
snow, that would
NIL
help too,
booster.
JJ.
You know, Sal,
We
we
could wipe
could
out
use
the
that.
snow.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are sick of our Syracuse stuff. Harry, we got to put these guys in a better mood.
Let's
better
talk about
spirits.
Noah Eagle. Come on, let's do 12
Well,
minutes on Noah
no,
Eagle.
we'll
and his
pass
rise
on that.
to
We'll pass on
prominence.
that. All right, Harry, what do you got? Game 1. Let's go.
All right, I'm going to give you my elf special here. Anytime touchdown parlay, guys, pays plus 639. Amari Cooper plus 185 of the Browns versus Houston. Cortland Sutton plus 155 of the Broncos against New England. Listen, this is going to be a beautiful Christmas present for everyone in FanDuel TV land out there. Cooper is the Browns' leading receiver by almost 300 yards. He's had 2 good games in a row. He's had 22 targets, guys, over those 2 games and scored the game-tying touchdown last week versus Chicago for a 51-yard touchdown bomb late in the 4th. So give me Cooper at plus 185 anytime touchdown with Cortland Sutton of the Broncos. Listen, Russell Wilson has 24 touchdowns this season, guys. 10 of them, 10 have gone to Cortland Sutton. Sutton also has recorded a touchdown in 7 of his last 9 games. And again, anytime touchdown parlay here pays plus 639. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Sal, I think those are juicy odds. Cortland Sutton always seems to score touchdowns. I feel like I'd be more skittish on Amari Cooper, for being honest, between the two. Do you agree?
I got to be honest. I didn't hear a goddamn word he said. I'm laughing at him. He's serious. He's angry. He's got this elf hat over his eyes.
The hat says, look at this, Raheem. Nice. Nice.
Nice.
I love it.
My nice straight bet here, guys. My nice straight bet. is Christian McCaffrey at -115 to have the most rushing and receiving yards combined in the San Francisco-Baltimore game. Now, look, we know he has 1,800 combined yards for the season, totally lit up the Cards last week for 180 combined. He's had at least 130 yards rushing and receiving in 4 straight games. And guys, listen, Sal knows this. He's been my MVP of the league. Sal knows it. I've been saying it all year. Come Tuesday, this is where everybody jumps on my broken and decrepit back from all the toys I helped build, and I just got back from the North Pole.
Oh, wow.
And riding McCaffrey to the MVP, that talk that I've done all season, McCaffrey, big game. Deebo Samuel's second favorite here at +500. Christian McCaffrey at 115, stealing money.
-115, most total yards for a guy who's been racking up a whole lot of total yards this year. But I'm just saying, Harry, I like Deebo Samuel to go and score a touchdown in this game. He's played out of his mind these last few weeks. I think he'll have another monster game on Monday night. Curiously, with the Ravens and the Niners, if you were playing that game with the side, who do you like there?
I think it's still overall here, the Niners, because the Ravens don't really need this game. I think they're still going to be okay. If they lay an egg here on the road on Christmas night, doesn't really matter to them. I think they still they're going to win the division. And San Francisco's just a machine. I know they haven't been great at home covering the spread lately. San Francisco's 0-3, the last 3 at home covering the spread. I think they get it done, though, on Christmas night.
You know, Raheem, that's an interesting narrative as far as motivation is concerned. Like, the Cowboys are kind of in that boat. I know they lost to Buffalo last week, and you want to tell me their pride's wounded, but Dallas is pretty solidified where they are as the 5. Baltimore, to Harry's point, they win against Miami. They go and win against Pittsburgh. They're the number 1 seed no matter what happens here in the AFC. Would you be leery maybe of that motivational angle for both of those teams, Baltimore and Dallas, on the road this week?
No, just because the Cowboys are still playing for the number 1 seed. Like, this is the NFL. Like, the Eagles could easily go out there and lose to the Giants. And right now, the Cowboys are actually ahead of the Eagles. So I don't think that motivational angle really applies. I just think both of these 2 teams, they know what they have to do in order to close things out strong. So I expect a prime effort. And then look at the Baltimore Ravens. They're playing on national television. Like, if you can't get up for a Christmas Day game against the 49ers, then what are you doing? So I don't buy that at all.
Well, and that's a MVP subplot, Sal. I mean, if anybody wants to make the case that Lamar Jackson could go and steal this award, he has a monster game, beats San Fran, and then they win the next 2 and they're the 1 seed. Could he steal that award?
Yeah, well, we were talking about this on Against All Odds. I know it's not a guarantee that if he does well in this game and they win, he wins the MVP. But what's a better bet? Ravens money line this week or Lamar Jackson to win MVP at 5-1? If the Ravens win, it'll likely be because of superior play by Lamar Jackson. So 5-1, if you like them to keep that close, this might be the time to jump on there.
We're naughty now. Uh-oh.
Naughty.
I'm
Switch
nervous.
Naughty.
House, I'm nervous. I don't know what he's going to bring us with the naughty hat on.
Just as long as he keeps his clothes on, it'll be fine.
Yes, please,
That's
Harry,
my-
for everybody's sanity on digital.
I don't know. This is getting a little hot. So I'm a little hot.
No, it's fine.
I'm a little
You
hot
can last
here in
12
Phoenix
minutes,
wearing
Harry.
this, but-
You'll be fine. Yeah.
But this is a 5-leg player prop naughty parlay. I'm going to start it off, JJ. You're going to like the start of this one right here. I'm going to take Jalen Waddle, 40 yards or more at least receiving at -400. This parlay, by the way, pays +134. Hill, not exactly 100%. Tua is going to have to really depend on Waddle here. He's just 36 yards short of 1,000 this season. That would make him 3 years in the NFL, 3 years, 1,000-yard receiver. Not too bad, right, boys? Big game from him versus Dallas. CeeDee Lamb in the same game of the Cowboys, 50 yards or more at -670. CeeDee Lamb has had 50 yards or more in 8 of his last 9 games. Give me Travis Kelce, 40 yards or more at -450. Has 31 targets more than the next chief receiver. Has hit this 10 of the last 12 games. Only had 28 yards last week versus the Pats. Bounce back game for Kelce. How about this one? Justin Fields, -800. 25 or more rushing yards. Leads the Bears in rushing. Averages 5.1 yards a carry. 25 yards or more in 8 straight for Fields. And to cap it off, Chuba Hubbard, 40-plus yards rushing, minus 600. Green Bay is 30th in the NFL versus the run. Hubbard has hit this in 4 straight. That 5-leg parlay pays plus 134. Bring it in, boys. Let's do it.
Sal, he's giving us a 5-legger at plus 134. Come on, Harry. If you give me a 5-legger, I want at least 5 to 1. Come on, bro.
That's a gift. That's guaranteed cash. Guaranteed
not at plus
extra
134. It's the NFL.
JJ, this House, jump in. What do you think here, House?
I mean, anytime you put 5 courses in front of me, 9.5 times out of 10, I say yes, I'll eat them all. But this is rutabaga, this is cauliflower florets, this is broccoli roots, this is kale. Like I don't want any part of 5 legs for that payout. I'd rather eat some quinoa and put my head down on the pillow.
See, in case you missed it, everybody's ungrateful today. Nobody likes their gift.
Boy, Raheem, I tell you,
I
give out a plus
gift.
money parlay.
I liked my gift. I need to step in there.
This is what Harry does. He lulls you into confusion. He mentioned 17 names, and you're like, I don't know. I guess that's good. It's like you go to a used car salesman, and he gives you the runaround for 10 minutes, and next thing you know, you're driving away in an 88 broken down Buick. Like, all right, Harry, we'll take your plus 134 parlay.
I jotted it down. We'll see if Harry ends up giving to all
I will say, out of all of it, weirdly enough, Travis Kelce scares me the most on that parlay. If I remember the names, like I really don't think you can count on him at all anymore.
Is Taylor Swift going to be in the building? I mean,
that's the other thing.
Oh, definitely on Christmas.
It is Christmas.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And that's why we're going to get these insufferable Kansas City games over the next few weeks. All right, guys, we got some YouTube comments. Harry, hopefully you could help us out with this.
Okay.
Scotty just sent us a message. Merry Christmas, filthy animals. Appreciate it. What are your 2 favorite 2 TD player props today? So a guy to score 2 touchdowns, not 1, 2. Is there anybody we like?
McCaffrey and Hurts. I mean, you might as well go with it, right? I have them both to score. Like I said, it's miraculously a plus number. So I think you're not getting a lot. Raheem, what is it? If it's minus 200 for Hurts to score 1, what is it to score 2? Probably like 180, or do you get better than that?
I would have to look. I actually want to look.
Yeah. Sorry to put you on the spot.
I got one. Garrett Wilson for the Jets. I know it requires the Jets scoring 2+ touchdowns, which is absurd. I'm just telling you, that Commander defense could not stop you, Raheem, House, and I running flies and underneath routes.
What about Harry?
Maybe Harry. I don't know.
Okay.
The others, I'm not so sure about. I think you take a swing there. Harry, they're going to throw to Garrett Wilson every play to get him to 1,000 yards. They might as well throw him in the red zone, too, while they're at it.
It just sucks taking the Jets for anything offensively.
I get that.
Doesn't come to fruition. It just doesn't. It's been so bad. 2 touchdowns? Boy.
Harry, really, you know what I gave Sal for his Christmas gift? Sal, you want to share?
I don't even know. It was a Jets win and Garrett Wilson to score, right?
No. It was Jets win. You were right on Wilson. 60+ receiving yards, Harry.
60+ receiving yards. But the Jets win. I rejected it out of hand as soon as I saw that. JJ, aside from that second half against Houston, they've gone like 30 quarters without scoring a touchdown or something.
I understand that, but something's got to give against Riverboat's wonderful defense that he has down in the district.
I kind of like Sal's Hurts, though. I'm going against him in fantasy. I'm already done in fantasy, but Hurts, just like you mentioned, JJ, he owns the Giants. Eagles own the Giants, and Hurts is getting a couple tush pushes. Probably happens that he's lit up the Giants since he's played.
Plus 280. Yeah.
We got another YouTube comment, guys. Over under. This one's from Law. Over under is 5 on number of presents until diminishing returns hit. Spoil brat territory from my 7-year-old boy and 6-year-old girl. Y'all taking the over or under? See, I don't know I don't have kids. Sal, House, I know you guys are in that department.
I don't know this guy.
It really depends on your kids. Were your kids brats, or were they grateful for the gifts they got from Santa?
Mostly brats.
Yeah, they're all brats. I would say if you're worried about diminishing returns, give them garbage to start.
Right.
Make them build the anticipation. Oh, here's a Slinky. Here's the Rubik's Cube. Here's the keychain. And then bring out the heavy hitters.
And then
down
boom,
the
Jordans are out. Boom, the Xbox is out. Yeah.
Keep the interest alive.
That's a great idea. So will you hide the bigger presents like at the back of the Christmas tree, maybe, house, so that way they don't get opened until the bitter end? I don't know, man.
My kid's 13 years old. He's a prick. So I don't, you know,
That's it.
It's
no,
over.
but I'm saying in their peak, like Santa years, my friend.
Yes, for sure. Yes. Oh, you could be very strategic with that. Absolutely. Sal knows.
Well, you know, the problem is I always get my kids an oar for a rowboat, and the way it's wrapped, there's no denying what it is, so they go right for it.
All right, guys, to sign us off with an absolute bang here on this Christmas, I actually have a weekly special. We all have a weekly special. Harry, you're a guest, so you might as well start the proceedings. FanDuel has 10 zillion of these specials. Let's have a little fun with these. What do you got for us, bud?
Yeah, they got a bunch of them. It's fantastic stuff. This is called the Ho Hawkinson Special. Believe it or not, I'm going to take TJ Hawkinson, guys, over Sam Laporta in receiving yards at -120. Look, Hawkinson has something to prove at home versus former team in a huge division game. Since Jefferson went down, Vikings quarterbacks have really depended on him, and he's actually been Minnesota's leading receiver in 5 of his last 6 games. Laporta, no doubt about it, is a machine. But maybe Goff doesn't give him all the love like he did last week. His 3 touchdowns, possibly a little letdown game for Laporta, and Detroit banks more on Gibbs and Montgomery running the ball. And again, I'm going against Laporta in fantasy, so let's go Hawkinson over Laporta, more receiving yards.
All right.
Are Harry's notes on the inside of his hat? Because I don't see how he's reading this otherwise. I don't know how he's getting this done.
He's a man of many talents, Sal. What can I say?
All right.
Okay.
Man of many talents. Sal, you got a weekly for us.
Yeah, it's the Merry Thickness. They got pretty funny with some of this stuff, FanDuel. A lineman scores a touchdown, JJ, at 13-1. Now I know I'm getting rooked on the odds here because it doesn't happen every week. And if it happened once a game or once a week out of 13 games, that would make sense. But this is for us fat guys everywhere, Harry. A lineman's going to get in there. Yes, pay dirt. Odds aren't great, but maybe the Cowboys will get bored, JJ, pounding in touchdowns with Pollard and throwing a lamb. We get a thick 6 from Chuma Edoga, and that's that. Sorry, JJ, that's how it's happening.
Well, I'm hopeful that the big guy in the Dolphins, Zach Sealer, who's almost scored in back-to-back weeks, had one against the Titans, almost had one against the Jets. Maybe Big Zach, part of Salt and Pepper. If you're watching Hard Knocks, maybe he could be a guy to get us a fat guy touchdown. I'd love the sound of that. Okay, House. You got a Christmas surprise, huh?
They're calling it a surprise. They wanted any non-quarterback to throw a touchdown pass. And I have a technical question. Does Trevor Siemian count as a quarterback? Tanny, what about Case Keenum? Does he count?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Siemian,
no. Keenum, yes.
Ryan Tannehill, is he a quarterback?
No.
Taylor Heineke. What about Heineke? So that's 5-1. Obviously nonsense. None of those guys, as far as I'm concerned, they won't be quarterbacks in the NFL next season. That should count for something.
Hey, House, you got to consider your old guy Heineke. He's moved the line 4.5 points.
Look,
and no Michael Pittman. I really want to bet the Falcons, but I'm showing restraint, Harry, because I know it's a terrible decision.
I love the Colts. Sign me up for the Colts.
I said I'm done with the Falcons. I wouldn't bet them last week. I'm not betting them again this week. I will not bet the Falcons. I will not bet the Falcons. All right, Raheem. Weekly special going to Monday.
Yeah, I'm going to go with any 4 of McCaffrey, Edwards, Swift, Kelsey, or Kittle to score a touchdown plus 750. I already spoke about how much I like that Ravens 49ers game. So you got a couple guys in that game. I think it's going to be a lot of points in that game. And then I'm just hoping, Swift can just give me a touchdown. Maybe he breaks one against the Giants. And maybe it's just a lot of points. So that's where I'm going. Good lottery ticket.
Guys, I'm going with the Monday games as well. I'm going with the quarterbacks. Brock Purdy, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson to combine for 6+ passing touchdowns. Not getting great payout here. It's a plus 160. But if you like one of these guys to go and have a monster game that gets you 3, then you can kind of split the baby a variety of different ways. I think this is a fun one to root for on Monday if you're rooting for the quarterbacks to throw the football. You just got to make sure, the McCaffreys and the Baltimore running game and all of these other elements at play don't go and vulture a bunch of touchdowns. Harry, before we say goodbye, I'll let you break the tie here. Dolphins, Cowboys, 425. Who do you got?
First off, I'm a little upset because I did like over 51 and a half, and now it's
Wow,
down
we should have.
have.
Why are we betting this?
JJ went under.
We
So
should have saved the action. That was my wisest wager of the week.
But I gotta,
Yeah.
but I will say this: is I know you're big Dolphins, and Sal's. I'll go against Dallas whenever I can. Interesting, they laid an egg against Buffalo. I kind of like Dallas this week. I think they bounce back and get the win here.
I
Oh
hope
no,
to
that's
God
the
that
worst
you were
gift I
wrong.
could get.
Yeah.
Give me a lump call as we
Oh.
sign off on this final
Forget
Christmas
it.
Eve of 2023. That's hopefully not the final Christmas Eve ever, but Harry, I hope it's a yearly tradition here on Ringer Wise
I
Guys
love
that
it.
you'll be joining
Guys,
us in the
thanks.
elf suit. I appreciate it.
How about every 5 years? I think this is a little
Every
much.
5 years? All right. So we'll put
Yeah,
them on
yeah.
almost an Olympic timetable.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. For Harry Gagman, Cousin Sal, Joe House, Raheem Palmer, John Jastremski signing off. Merry Christmas, one and all. Good job by Jack and company. We'll see you guys on New Year's Eve next Sunday.